Good afternoon. Continuing on our video about the, in my opinion, easiest tropical fruit trees to grow here in the Central Valley's insane climate. However, before I begin though, I wanted to address a couple of questions that I do get on a regular basis. So number one would be my water usage. I mean, I'm surrounded by trees, tropical trees of all things, which in the native climate gets a lot of water. So that being the case, how much water do I use? Well, here's my water usage throughout the year. I mean, what I'm showing you here is general household usage as well. So that's in addition to my house using the water as well as the water that I use to feed the trees, to water the trees. And I mean, for the month of June 2022, my usage was roughly about 18 of the 100 cubic feet, which is almost the equivalent of about 13,500 gallons. That results in like what, $41 a month. To me, that's pretty good. I mean, so and I do water my trees quite often. That's how you're able to get them to be so nice looking and so productive. So yeah, that's my water usage. And another question that I often get too is my electricity bill, particularly because in the wintertime, I have a greenhouse which has a heater that kicks in to keep the tropical ultra sensitives nice and warm. So here's my electricity bill for the past couple of months because it's been crazy warm and this is the Central Valley, so we get all day sun practically. Because of the solar panels that I have, my electricity company actually owes me money. I mean, I generate way more electricity than what I need it for. I mean, I've got the AC on 24/7, practically 24/7, and I end up with a surplus of electricity that my solar panels generated for me. So that's really not an issue. Even in wintertime, I mean, I end up generating way more than I actually need. In wintertime, I don't put on the AC, so there's really nothing that hogs up electricity. So that out of the way, so the tree that I want to talk about is the Atemoya. It is a hybrid in the sense that this is what happens. So these are cheromoyas. So when you take a cheromoya mommy and a sugar apple daddy back here, this guy right here, this is a sugar apple. So when you marry the two, the offspring is gonna be an Atemoya. This guy right here. In fact, this particular tree is actually, in many ways, the tree that really inspired me to just go all in with tropicals. This is the tree that I put in the ground about 5 years ago. Surprisingly, didn't die the next winter. So that being the case, I just kind of went all in. Phenomenal trees. So technically, with the Atemoyas, technically they are slightly more hardier in terms of cold hardiness than the cheromoyas. It really hasn't been my case. I mean, they both do phenomenal here in the Central Valley. With Atemoya though, you'll see a lot of conflicting information out there with the seeds, if they are able to be germinated from seeds. Some sites says no, other sites says yes. From my experience, they germinate from seed. You can grow them from seed. So before I begin though, I wanted to show you, just like the cheromoyas, as most known as anyway in the Central Valley, you're gonna want to hand pollinate, okay? I mean, I've had with the hand pollination method, I've had nearly a 100% success rate with it. In fact, I did actually hand pollinated some just yesterday. If you see the markings here, this is this particular flower. I took out one of the stems, one of the petals, I guess. That's how that's how I can tell that I've pollinated this particular set already. So what you want to do? I don't see any male flowers, but I did collect a bunch of pollens just yesterday in my Atemoya cup. So I wanted to show you the process. Let me see if I can get a better angle for you in the sunlight. Let's try that. See all these dust particles? This is the pollen that I collected last night. Transfer that to the brush. See that? Nice and sparkly. So a rule of thumb with pollinating anonas, especially the Atemoya, is the more pollen you have on transfer to the flower, generally the larger the fruits, and also the more seeds that particular fruit will have. So get the pollens in your brush, locate a female flower, which I did see one or two here. Well, I did. The female flowers are essentially the flowers that haven't quite opened all the way. Let's see here. So this guy's been pollinated. This guy's also been pollinated. Let's see if I can find any for you. There's bound to be some. It is difficult just because the flowers are green, the foliage is green. So let's see. Well, maybe I can't find any for you. Let me see if I can. Well, just changing the subject just really quick. So this is essentially what happens after the flower has set, and maybe a week or so later, it forms a fruit like this. So pretty cool looking. The fruits themselves generally will be able to be picked right around November or December in our climate. And you'll definitely want to pick it right around that time, just because you want to pick it before the frost hits. And being that the fruits are they ripen on the countertop, you'll want to pick them right before they drop, and then just put them on the countertop, and they will be softened and ripen on the countertop for you. Oh, you know what? Here's a good one. So another Atemoya, okay? Oh well, sorry. Looks like I also pollinated this guy. So anyhow, let me just see if I can just demonstrate one for you. So assuming this one has not been pollinated, all you really do is just literally take the tips of the brush and insert it into the actual where the flowers are, the little ball down there, and transferring as much of the pollen onto it as you can. That eventually makes the flower stay, and after it stays, oh, you know what? You are in luck today. Here's one. Here's one. This is a female flower for you. So yeah, this is what I mean by a female flower. It's not fully open. Again, you literally just brush it inside there. I mean, the brush heads are fairly soft on this one, so it's not going to do any damage to the actual fruit once it forms anyhow, the flower. So just transfer as much as you can in there. And then once you do that, to me, the way that I know that I've pollinated this flower is I simply take out one of the petals. That's it. So we should be able to determine if it makes it or not, if the flower doesn't fall out. And if you are patient, that's what you'll get eventually. So yeah, with me, instead of pollinating every single flower just because there are so many of them, Instead, I actually focus on pollinating maybe a dozen or so, and just focusing and letting the tree put as much energy into those dozen fruits. Just because, I mean, how many Atemoyas can you possibly eat all at once? So that's what it is. That's an Atemoya. So I should mention the Atemoyas, in terms of the size of the fruits, they are slightly smaller than the Cherimoyas. The texture is a bit more pointy, but they're both really, really delicious. So Atemoya, there are actually several varieties of Atemoya. Those two that I've shown you are very likely Gaffner. And oh, you know what? I actually also have another Gaffner here that I wanted to show you. This guy right here. He's also a Gaffner. So yeah, pretty cool looking trees here. Not the most attractive looking, but it is produces one of the best tasting fruits though. So let me show you a pretty cool Atemoya that I have over here. If you are able to locate it, this is really the one that you probably get or should get. So here it is. Developed in Israel. Well, so were the Gaffners. Both the Gaffners were developed in Israel. So is this one. This one is what's known as a red Israel Atemoya. If you look at the foliage, exact same texture as the other three Gaffner Atemoyas. The cool thing about this one though is it is self-pollinating. So if you don't want to go to the hassle of hand pollinating it, get yourself a red Israel. The problem with the red Israel though, it is a bit more rarer to locate. So, but if you are able to find one, yeah, just see if you can grab yourself a red Israel Atemoya. Does quite well here. Tolerates our sun. Tolerates our winter. I mean, obviously, when they're young, you might encounter like limb diebacks, like this branch right here. But as you can see though, as soon as the weather warms up, new branches come out to replace the dead branches, just like this guy right here. But yeah, Atemoya, one of the better tasting fruits out there. It is just one of those trees that does quite well in our region. From the perspective of the taste between the Atemoya and Cherimoya, I really can't tell them apart. I mean, they're both quite good. So anyhow, yeah, that's Atemoya for you. I should mention most Atemoyas, when you get them from your local nurseries, they're probably going to be grafted onto Cherimoya rootstocks. Just given the ease at which the Cherimoya rootstocks grow, and they, from what I'm told, I've not actually done this. From what I'm told, the grafting of the Atemoya varieties are slightly more difficult to do so than the Cherimoyas. So anyhow, yeah, that is Atemoya for you. All right, have a good afternoon.